To celebrate the 10th anniversary of the franchise in March 2026, Ubisoft released a transformative realism mode for The Division 2. This update represents a radical departure from the traditional bullet sponge looter-shooter mechanics, signaling a potential shift in how Ubisoft approaches its tactical shooters moving forward. The mode is a separate character journey primarily focused on the Warlords of New York campaign. It strips away the RPG layers to focus on raw, tactical gunplay. The most immediate change is the time to kill. Enemies no longer take hundreds of rounds to drop. A well-placed headshot is usually fatal. Players are just as fragile as the NPCs. Pushing out of cover without a plan is a death sentence, and damage is determined by the physical properties of the weapon rather than abstract gear scores. You must rely on limited medkits and tactical play. Skills have significantly longer cooldowns, turning them into Hail Mary tools rather. Ubisoft has almost entirely removed the interface. No minimap, no health bars over enemies, and no damage numbers. Players must visually confirm kills and listen for the distinct crunch of armor breaking. Ammo is no longer infinite or found in every crate. You must scavenge it directly from fallen enemies. Realism extends to your loadout. Heavy armor provides genuine protection, but noticeably slows your movement and stamina. Conversely, running a light agent setup makes you agile but glass fragile. Unlike the hardcore mode already in the game, which is just permadeath, Realism Mode changes the physics and logic of the world. In standard play, an enemy's toughness is a math equation based on your gear score versus their level. In Realism Mode, headshots on unarmored targets are almost always a one-hit kill. Center mass shots are lethal in 2 to 3 rounds. Armor is destructible, not a health bar. Heavy enemies, like the tank archetypes, aren't just bags of HP. You have to physically shoot off their armor plates to expose the vulnerable human underneath. Once exposed, they drop as fast as any other NPC. A .50 caliber sniper rifle feels like a .50 caliber. It will punch through cover and thin walls, rewarding players who understand ballistics over stat sticks. You can no longer rely on your magical restocking backpack. Ammo does not regenerate, and there are no restock boxes in safe houses. You must physically walk over downed enemies to pull magazines from their vests. If you reload a half-full magazine, you lose those remaining bullets. This forces a massive shift in player behavior. Tactical reloading after every kill will quickly leave you empty-handed. Your health does not tick back up. Medkits are rare, and specialized healing skills, like the Fixer Drone, have massive cooldowns, often 5+ minutes, making them a once-per-encounter resource. Ubisoft introduced a weight and stamina system specifically for this mode. Wearing tank gear physically slows your sprint speed and increases the stamina cost of vaulting and dodging. While not a true stealth game, the reduced HUD and faster TTK allow for ambush gameplay. If you engage from the shadows with a suppressed weapon, you can often clear half a room before the AI fully realizes where the threat is coming from. For years, Ubisoft faced criticism for homogenizing its games, turning everything into a looter-shooter with RPG numbers, for example, Ghost Recon Breakpoint at launch. Realism Mode suggests a pivot back to their roots. This mode addresses the #1 complaint since 2016: human enemies surviving sniper shots to the face. It shows Ubisoft is willing to break its own looter-shooter loop to satisfy tactical purists. Many analysts believe this is a live test for The Division 3. By seeing how players engage with realistic lethality, they can find a middle ground that maintains the loot chase without sacrificing the Tom Clancy tactical feel. Offering the Warlords of New York expansion for free during this season and adding a fresh way to play it has resulted in a Steam player count peak of over 27,000, nearly doubling its previous high. While the reception is generally positive, the community has noted some identity crisis growing pains. Currently, sidearms feel disproportionately inaccurate, likely a balancing attempt for their unlimited ammo nature that feels jarring in a realism mode. Some New York bosses still retain phase mechanics or scripted health pools that clash with the one-shot, one-kill philosophy. Currently, it is a limited-time seasonal event restricted to the New York map, leaving many hoping for a permanent DC-wide. Ubisoft is indeed undergoing a significant identity shift. After years of leaning into the RPG-ification of everything, which saw franchises like Assassin's Creed and Ghost Recon adopt levels, gear scores, and loot rarity, the company seems to has officially pivoted. The next Ghost Recon is shaping up to be the most radical departure for the series since its inception. Leaks and internal reports from early 2026 suggest a mil-sim, military simulation, approach that mirrors games like Ready or Not or Gray Zone Warfare. In a controversial but bold move, the game is reportedly locked to a first-person perspective to heighten immersion and tactical tension. The Division 2 Realism Mode can be a playtest for the next Ghost Recon to see how fans react to it. After years of silence and internal restructuring at Ubisoft Toronto, 2026 has brought renewed confirmation that the Splinter Cell Remake is the spearhead for Ubisoft's return to pure stealth. Ubisoft has explicitly pushed back against making Sam Fisher's return an open-world RPG. The focus is on dense, linear levels where light and shadow are the primary mechanics. Built from the ground up, the remake is leveraging the Snowdrop engine to create realistic ray-traced shadows that affect gameplay, not just visuals. Early dev diaries suggest there will be no level 15 goggles or epic tier suppressed pistols. Sam's progression is tied to gadgetry and player mastery, honoring the 2002 original's philosophy. Ubisoft's pivot is a response to looter-shooter fatigue. Between Ghost Recon Breakpoint's rocky launch and the lukewarm reception to Star Wars Outlaws, the company realized that their audience was craving distinct genre identities rather than a one-size-fits-all RPG template. By giving Creative House 2 its own financial and creative autonomy, Ubisoft is signaling that they no longer expect Ghost Recon to play like Assassin's Creed. This specialization is the strongest signal yet that the Tom Clancy name might finally return to its roots of high-stakes, realistic tactical gameplay, starting right now with the Division 2 test. And you know what? I'm very happy about this change of direction that Ubisoft is taking. So that is the new Realism Mode for the Division 2. Personally, I think this is the most exciting thing to happen to the franchise since the original Survival Mode. It proves that the Tom Clancy name still has teeth when you strip away the numbers and the bullet sponges. But the real question is this just a one-off experiment? Or is this the new Ubisoft? Does this Realism Mode make you want to jump back into DC and New York? And more importantly, do you trust this new direction Ubisoft is taking? Or are you still skeptical after the last few years? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read as many as I can. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button and subscribe for more tactical shooter news. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.